So hi, everybody. All right, folks. How are we doing today? Here.
Now I'm here.
Shelly was here a minute ago, and then we realized we weren't on Facebook, and now Shelly's here because Shelly's in charge of putting us on Facebook, and she was not quite where she wanted to be. So everybody do this. Good work. All right. If you haven't done that yet today, do that. Oh, man. What was it, Beth? 11 minutes a day of moving, mobility, exercise?
10 even, I think it was. Wasn't it 10? I have to look at the number again. Maybe you're right. Maybe it was 11.
Either way.
Even if you're sitting down, what Amanda's talking about is new studies are showing you don't need the 45 minutes to an hour every day to actually make an impact positively on your health. Get up and move for just 10 minutes. Just move. Moderate exercise like a brisk walk, 10 minutes. That is it. They're saying can't affect our health.
Incredible. And 10 minutes, 11 minutes, 5 minutes, anybody can do that. I can move around. I'd probably move around my kitchen longer than that. And that leads us to today's topic. Thanks to one of our viewers for bringing this question up. I don't need it yet. I don't need it yet. I'm still moving, mobile. Yeah, I'm good. But as we know, vision changes as you age. So everybody do this. Even with healthy, normal aging changes, you lose something. What is it that you lose a little bit of, guys?
Just that peripheral perception. I can't quite think, I can't process it.
So if you are outside doing your 10, 11 minutes of walking, as you age, what do you notice starts to happen?
You tend to trip on those little steps, when the sidewalk's uneven.
Yeah. And earlier in these aging changes, we can do a quick catch. When I stumble, I catch, and you just sort of look around to make sure nobody else was looking. Later on, though, if my reflexes are not quite as quick, what might happen? Yeah, and I don't go soft and gently like the night breeze. I am the tree. Full on. So we had a person ask us, how do you help someone stand up? And where I start today is not how do you help someone else stand up. My question for you is, how do you stand up? So we're going to watch Teepa doing a self-standing up video, and then we'll take a look at how she might help someone else. Maybe on even another day, we'll dig a little deeper into that. But first, for yourself, after we do this today, we're going to all three, well, maybe not Shelly because she's trying to do all the stuff. Beth and I are going to actually get down and show you what this looks. How do you stand up? How do you personally, from a fall, get up? Because sometimes where we make our greatest mistake, just like when I was shaving Dan the wrong direction, is we do it the way I would do it. And if I don't even know how I stand up, then how the heck am I going to help somebody else? So that's where we're going to start today, is by watching a video and then trying it out. So let's see. Here we go. I'm going to share sound, believe it or not, you guys. And that's where we're going to watch somebody else getting helped. First, we're going to take a look at Teepa getting herself up off the floor. So notice what you notice, and Pack Team, I'll ask you for some feedback.
So what I had her dominant side, her preferred side. If she has capacity, I could have her do this. If not, first of all, I want to get her upper body up a little bit. Then what I'm going to do is get her, I potentially could get her in 4-point. What I did is I went ahead and took her from here to here and up, to here.
Which I wasn't expecting that.
Right, so now I have to do is weight shift, bring the leg through, stabilize, lean forward, push, turn. So she doesn't have to come all the way up. Now lie down, Leslie, and I'll show you the traditional way that people try to get. Leslie?
Yes.
I'm going to get you up, okay? Roll back. Okay, here we go. Leslie, okay, here you go.
Okay, so I'm going to stop us there. it continues further, and poor Leslie gets dragged around quite a bit. What did you notice when Teepa was getting herself up off the floor versus when she tried to do the traditional way that we help hoist up from behind? What did you notice was one of the differences?
I noticed the orientation of the body. I had to be starting to think about how I get out of bed even in the morning. And I don't go from this, I realize I don't do that. So this idea that I actually first orient
Right.
to a place where I can see the floor,
Mm-hmm.
that to me is a total reversal of what we think about happens.
Right.
Absolutely. That visual shift, regaining where is the ground? Where's stability? Getting an arm propped up under the shoulder, getting the viewpoint to go down, not back.
Mm-hmm.
Those are things that are so counterintuitive when you're trying to help someone else. But if you were to stand up yourself, you don't Frankenstein. Yeah, out of bed. And you don't do it like that. Shelley, anything else you noticed?
Well, yeah, I was just going to say that it's the idea of doing it in parts, right? You don't just stand straight up. You start by get the upper body up, then get into that. It's a multi-step process. So
You don't snap your fingers and you're standing.
right.
That's not how it works for any of us, from whether it's from the bed or from the floor. So before we look at helping someone else, let's take a moment, and I'm going to unplug and scooch down here on the floor. And you guys will have to let me know if you can't see me. I'll go back here.
Well, we can see you.
So if I am actually laying on the floor, and as Beth mentioned, I want to lean forward, what's the first part of me, Beth, that should move forward?
I think Teepa did this point where she took the shoulder and the hand, so the hand that's up in the air, so to speak, and not on the ground, that one comes forward.
Yeah, if you just roll me here and make me look at the ground, as Beth mentioned, I don't have enough space to feel safe and comfortable. So the first step was to use my alternate hand. And everybody at home, try this. I know it seems like, oh, of course I know how I get up off the floor, but do it, because it's really not as simple as you think. So first I want to push up and away from the floor to give this prop, because now I'm not faced to the carpet. Then when I can look down, I'm already moving in the right direction. Hand down, I'm halfway there now. This in itself requires less flexibility than a lot of the other movements we ask of people. Oh, Beth has a friend. She's going to help. Now, the heaviest part of the human body is what? This hip part, this section down here. So instead of trying to work against it and pull backwards, where then I'm trying to lift dead weight, what Teepa said is shift up on your knees and get in 4-point. Then and only then you can push up using the muscles you've used your whole life to stand up.
Right.
Now I'm centered and grounded. And is this going to be comfortable? No, but you fell and you're trying to get up. This is not about a comfort mode. This is about using what my body's already used to. So while you're on your knees, shift back and forth a little bit to feel what weight shift feels like. I've got to shift enough, and this is where you might want to think about environmental support, bringing my one foot up, and then what can I push on? Again, it's all about push, not pull.
You can push on
I
it.
push myself up with my foot and my hand, and now I don't have to come to full stand, especially if I just fell. Now I'm back in a comfortable space again. So,
I have a question on that though. What if you have arthritic knees?
yeah, what if you have arthritic knees? Yikes, is this going to feel really good?
No.
No. So what are you trying to do quickly versus what are you trying to move through in a comfortable way, as comfortable as you can? how long are you going to want to spend in each of these spaces and places?
I think, Amanda, that's a beautiful description and a great question, Shelley. Given the fact that if we can't do this ourselves, if we can't break down these steps and figure out how it is I can instruct somebody, how much more likely am I going to take more time to help get them to move? So this concept that I am going to be able to risk my own body to then add in the verbal instructions as I'm helping you figure out how to move, this idea that who I've got to practice is first with myself. And then I'm even thinking, who in my circle of colleagues do I need to practice verbally some of our positive action starters? My head is going to, there's a lot of practice here to figure out how I describe it helpfully to somebody else so they don't have to stay on those these long.
Well, I am one of those people, so I'm going to try this later. I couldn't do it now because of my own fear of my knees. That's why I didn't do it. So I want to practice it tonight, and I'll come back tomorrow and tell you how it worked for me. How's that?
Great, great. And where might you want to practice it if you are someone who you know your knees are going to be
in my bedroom,
in your bed, maybe even on your bed, so that you're not having that hard surface of the ground as the place that you're trying this thing. Yeah, cool. So we're going to take a look here because I told you we would, mostly. So notice here, what kind of stress and strain in this old way of helping is Teepa doing to herself?
Yeah, that fireman's grab there, that's all lower back, man.
Mm-hmm. And we know how strong Teepa is, and she's got the good form of at least having her legs bent, and she is taking quite a bit of it back here further. But is this helpful for either of them? They're working against each other. Leslie's body is saying, ah! So she's going to pull harder forward because that's the direction that we want to go. And Teepa's body is then going to be pulling further backwards, and so they're working at a pull. Anytime we do movement with people, whether there's dementia or not, push is easier and more accepted from the body than a pull. So if I want to move your arm, rather than pulling out, we push it forward. If I want to move your leg, rather than pulling it up and over, I'm going to push it forward and then slide your foot. Always a push rather than a pull. So we'll take it. Go ahead, Beth.
I'm thinking about in terms of this resource idea of who we work with. Mm-hmm. And, you know, this is, while there's a lot of PAC stuff here, this is also some basic occupational therapy stuff that Teepa is utilizing. It's not that she's changed a whole lot of this. So I'm just wondering how many of us in senior living actually have access to therapists who maybe we could practice this with even better, you know?
Absolutely, because that's exactly what this weekend from 2016, I think it was all about, was learning some of these therapy movement techniques that Teepa's learned, but also is because she's occupational therapy. So we'll take just one more look here, and then on another day, we'll dig deeper into how to help someone else stand up.
Behind her knee. So what you want, no, the foot.
Oh,
so you want it like this. So that, think of her being in kneeling. You don't want the legs crossed.
Okay.
So when she comes up, you want her so that when she comes up, she's here. So when she goes here, am I going to be in a good kneel?
Yeah.
Yes. If you bring this leg, so she has it, so she is like, this low leg is here, this one's here. If you bring this foot in front, I'm going to have to do a full over. Right. Whereas if you keep it here and you push me up here,
That's why she did that.
then all we have to do is bring that foot back so I can come into a kneel or into 4-point.
So how much have any of you out there thought this much about how the heck you stand up from the floor? Because I guarantee this is not where my brain spends a lot of time, and yet what Teepa does is figure this stuff out. So
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of comments on Facebook about that. Yeah, they're liking the push, not pull. That's what Helen said, and And somebody said when she's in her knee position, she has to grab onto something to stand up. So yeah, it depends again how strong your core is too. Right?
You got it. And
Not your knees.
And the biggest problem with not doing this kind of stuff and waiting for a fall is if I'm not practicing these movements now when I don't need help, I'm going to need help sooner. Because if you don't use these muscles and practice these things, just like all the other exercise that's gone by the wayside because of COVID, this is one that could really help.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Hey folks, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe to help us spread Teeps's Positive Approach message around the world. And don't forget to click the bell to get notified when new videos are posted.